Rick, what are some of the most common things you're seeing in your day-to-day practice now for the needs of the folks in the Florida Panhandle that are coming to see you?
Well, I'm seeing a number of things. I'm seeing a number of people with pending applications or pending petitions who think that they, just because that's a pending application, that it may offer them a little bit more protection. Always check with an immigration attorney. There's a lot of we call it notarial fraud, or people who are preparing forms that maybe aren't attorneys, and there could be any number of issues with that. A lot of scam artists out there that are...
What did you reference that? Notaria?
Notario.
Okay.
Yep.
I call it the unlicensed practice of law.
That's it. And it is UPL.
We're talking about the same thing.
Yes, we are. Okay. Yes, we are. Right. So, so there's a lot of people scamming people and
which
printing out fake
by the way,
documents.
is criminal if you do it. So please don't.
That's right. And there's been a more recent law, I think, passed just specifically on this. But always just get an immigration attorney, right? Call somebody and get some legal advice as to you or your loved one's status is the most important thing you can do.
I know that our audience has heard us say this many times in the personal injury context, and it applies almost universally in the law, but it's best to get someone with professional experience on the front end to start you off on the right path. I can imagine, that's clearly applicable to a personal injury case, and I bet it's even more applicable to the immigration process, because if you start by not filing the right papers or not going through the right process, and you're up against the machine that is the federal government, I would imagine that doesn't go very well for you.
No, it doesn't. And I would advise everybody that since July, Secretary Noem of the Department of Homeland Security has delegated the authority to USCIS, and that's normally the agency that is adjudicating or making a decision on a petition. So if you fill out your paperwork incorrectly, they may just turn around and send you a notice to appear in immigration court saying, hey, we see that you don't have any pending application, and we want a word with you because we think you may be eligible for removal. So, now more than ever, it's definitely important to get an attorney to review any sort of forms you may be filling out, or just asking that attorney's advice before you begin to petition the government for something.
Right. Document, and start out on the right path from the get-go. I cannot emphasize those two things enough. Well, if you have a situation, back to my common misconception, Rick, on where if you just marry someone, you get citizenship. If you do get citizenship via that mechanism, is there a period of time where if you stay married, it gives you problems or not? I know you always see this on the sitcoms and things like that, and I'm wondering, is there even any rationale to that?
So usually if you're married for under 2 years and you're applying for a marriage-based green card, usually you're going to get what's called a CPR, which is a conditional permanent residency. You can, you still have all the privileges of a green card, but only this one will be for 2 years instead of the standard 10 years.
Gotcha.
Now, that's sort of the U.S. government saying, well, let's just check and see if you guys are still married 2 years from now. Right? Because sometimes people rush into things, So after that 2 years, you file a form, I-751, and you remove those conditions on your green card. And then you get a 10-year green card, and at that point, you are a lawful permanent resident, right? As long as you're married to a U.S. citizen, you can file an application to naturalize and become a U.S. citizen after 3 years, but that doesn't mean you have to stay married, right?
Gotcha.
So,
at that point in time, you have your own citizenship.
Once you get your 10-year green card, you are good to go. So and there's also some people may be trapped in, let's say, a domestic violence situation or some sort of dangerous situation where they may be being taken advantage of by a spouse or a loved one who is a U.S. citizen. And there are special provisions in the law. VAWA is one of them, the Violence Against Women Act, U visa, T visa. So just speak to an immigration attorney. There's never a reason to stay in a marriage if you don't want to. And that applies for everybody, citizen, resident, and non alike.